Yeah, I'm not. I'm not good. I'm not. Yeah, I'm. Whenever I retire from teaching, I had a Luis Angel and so many. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Awesome Poetry Slam. This is episode 5, 6, because the fifth one. It's episode 5, but really, this is the sixth one because I want to honor all the work that we did with the last episode, and we just could not give it to you because I tried something new. I was trying a new program, a little software, and it sucked. So I will not be doing that to us anymore. We're just gonna have to. You're just not gonna be able to see us, and that's fine because I'm okay with that.
Sometimes we be looking like the before picture.
Sometimes we be looking like what we've been through. We don't need everyone to be privy of that. Welcome. I am so excited that we now have 4 hosts. Look at us, thriving and surviving. My name is Tova Charles, and everyone will introduce themselves. Introduce yourself. So
Rachel Z.
Okay.
I'm Michael Hatcher.
Amen.
I'm Mr. Dave.
Amen. And we are the podcast of all podcasts. It's the best podcast around. If you really want to know. And we just talk about poetry and whatever the hell else comes up. How was y'all's? We just had the 4th yesterday, July 4th. I think this has been the most complicated July 4th for me. It's always been complicated for me in general, but like right after the Supreme Court hearings, and then we like home and away in the free, and I'm like, I just don't know how we keep holding this one up. But how did everyone enjoy their 4th? Did you celebrate as a true American and shoot guns? I mean, pop fireworks.
Same thing.
What same difference? What y'all
One's
do?
shinier. I ate pizza on my couch and watched Star Trek and the Boys.
Okay,
Yeah, turn up.
that's turned. My family is here, so
When they
yeah.
leave?
My mom's still here. In fact, I'm at my sister's house right now. So like we had a little party, and I invited Formy and Jazz over, so they got to meet my family for the first time, and they had this real deep conversation on being poly in front of my very conservative dad. It was pretty cool.
Okay.
So
Welcome, Austin.
they just
Nothing like the holidays to have those conversations with your family.
it was pretty loud.
Yeah, here's the thing. We Black people, we don't know quiet. And so I always see like movies and stuff where people have these like very awkward conversations and stuff, or not conversations on Thanksgiving. And that just would not be the thing in my household. We would definitely, now where there'll be throwing of things and fighting, for sure. But things will be said. So I think everybody needs to come into those conversations however they go. I hope your dad is okay and he will come and visit us again.
He just had a lot of questions. He good.
Okay.
What kind of questions?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So his first one is like, okay. He was like, so you can sleep with your partner.
That's an old
And
man.
another for that? And it was like, yeah, Dad, yeah. And then nobody gets mad. I was like, yeah, Dad, chill out. Chill out.
All right, I think he's trying to work it out. Wait a minute. So wait a minute. I can hold on. Wait. I can have my wife, who I love so much. I love her so much. She is the salt of the earth. She is the light of my life.
Not that I would ever want to.
Not that I would ever
want to.
Not ever. I would never. do that to not my wife. What's your mama name?
Shirley. That's my mama name.
And her name's Shirley. Ooh, that's old lady. Shirley, listen to me. Look at me in my eyes real good.
Yo, it's funny because he said that. That's exactly what he said.
Listen, I went to school for a long time. I have been studying Black people for an upkeep, especially Southern Black people, because he knew immediately. His wife was like, "Okay,
yes,
you will eventually have to leave this place."
Yeah.
So I need you to act accordingly. Because I am crazy.
Strictly hypothetical questions.
Yeah, clearly. Sure. Baby, I didn't even know what the word was until we started talking about today. I didn't even know they put that together. I didn't even know about it. So I'm just happy I'm learning with my son, whom also I love. And my children are here with that I had with you. The love of my life.
I love you so much.
So they can you can sleep with them and come home. Okay.
Okay.
In peace. I can come home in peace and my wife will not kill me. That's what you're saying?
That's great. I would never. I can't see why somebody would want to do that.
But I don't even know why you do it. I only need one woman. One woman is enough for me. Don't need any more.
One woman always been enough.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. We gotta bring in Jesus because the Lord sent you to me, baby. Ain't nobody else for me but you.
Mm-hmm.
Lord had made you, fashioned you out of clay.
You better talk. You better talk.
You
breathe.
think I'm gonna mess up my blessing? You think I'm gonna mess up that blessing? Shoot, I'd be a fool.
You're crazy. You're crazy if you think
Tim said in his post something about a fool or don't be a fool. Anytime he say fool, I just die because it's just an old man. They ain't gonna curse you out. You being a fool right now. Oh. You don't say. I don't know what to do with that, but yo, have y'all seen Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F? It is so good. It is very good. It ignored the third one, thank God, because it was so bad. Such a terrible movie. And they brought back like the old soundtrack, like they ain't do nothing. They might got 2 new songs in there. There's like whatever they liked on Beverly Hills Cop 2. Pick it up. Bring it back. So it was definitely for the fans. If you don't know any of the lore, then like he wasn't talking to you. He was specifically, and it's a buddy cop, but it's introducing Axel Foley's daughter, and she has a love interest. Love it. I like him from Third Rock from the Sun. Something Love It is in it. Anyway, that's what I watched for the 4th. I pretty much vegged out, played video games, watched a lot of Netflix, watched the whole Castlevania Nocturnal series. It's like 8 episodes. Yeah, just had a good time. I had a good time in the house. I heard there were fireworks. My mom, thank God, she took the kids for 2 days, so I just rested, Enjoy the peace. Dave, what'd you do for the 4th?
So it was really kind of hard for me to get into like the excited and patriotic spirit
That makes sense.
with everything going on. So, I mean, as you could probably tell by almost every piece that I did on Wednesday. But like,
you said chocolate. I remember that. Now I had to buy a piece of chocolate afterwards just so we knew that my alliance was not in accordance with yours. Because
no. I said fuck Nestle.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I heard chocolate.
Specifically.
I don't know.
Nestle
know.
isn't chocolate. That's more chalk than lead. No, but I got a pizza. I stayed at home and I watched some shows. It was super low key. My house is equidistant between two different fireworks shows that were half a mile apart. So at one point in the evening, I went outside. I looked to the south and watched a fireworks show. And then I looked to the north and watched a fireworks show. And then I went back inside, made more pizza.
That's the way.
It was good. It was low key. Like,
I love that. I love that, everybody. I mean, if whatever you did for the 4th, however way you celebrated it, I hope that you were safe. I hope that you were around people that you love. And if you were by yourself, I hope that you love yourself. Because that's all we got at these days. Today is we're just gonna talk about the week, talk about the 2 amazing shows. Every Word launching off this last week. We apologize that we didn't have a podcast for it. We wanted to really show love and show support, but we always do, we always will. And then just talk about the $100 Slam, which was freedom themed. We're trying new stuff at the Slam, so talk about that. And then the bulk of the show will be about Slam teams, because we are creating a Slam team, Poetry Slam team, in the end of this season. There's also a Texas two-step Poetry Slam team. Now, I kind of give the kind of background and idea of how I came up with it, which I really didn't come up with it. There was another group that came up with it, and I just stole their idea. So, America. So yeah, I want to hear from Mike. How did you feel about Monday? How did it go?
Let me start off by saying thank you to the poetry community. I was really overwhelmed with the amount of support and love we received from people, all the people on the podcast that I'm with right now, but the greater community as a whole. I'm still getting love pouring in of people saying, we really like what you're doing. We enjoyed what you did. Overall, I'm going to be honest with y'all. For me, it went by like a blur. Like it went by so fast. I barely remember any of the details. I'm looking at pictures right now going, I did that? Like when did I do that?
You gotta check in more, man.
What's up, Tava?
I say you gotta check in with yourself more when the stuff is when good stuff are happening.
The crazy part is I was thinking that the whole time. Like I told them, I was like, hey, we're only gonna be able to do this the first time, one time. So make sure you're present and you're taking in the moment. And then I blinked my eyes and the show was over.
Amen.
So
try to work.
Life come at you quick.
Well, I'm so sad that I wasn't able to be there the first night. Hopefully I can get time off free Tova to get a Monday and go.
Oh.
But y'all are having another show this next week, right? Is it going to be a weekly show now?
Yes, it will be weekly. The next show is going to be girls, gays, and theys. So it's going to be girls, gays, and theys theme night. We really want to empower women and the LGBTQIA community. We want to make sure that, we have a diverse open mic, and we want to give people that space.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love it exists, man. You'd have no idea how powerful it is just to have somewhere like that existing, especially in the Vortex. Vortex is a very, 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 hopefully they mark it as a historical landmark eventually. Bonnie basically started that theater out of her house. That was a house. And she added all this stuff to it, and then it's survived gentrification, it has survived the pandemic, it has survived. She has always figured out ways to reinvent that space to make it last. And unfortunately, we've lost a lot of theaters in Austin. Just down the street from there used to be Savage Garden.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
I can't see you anymore. Oh. All right, my screen went away. Hyde Park is still here. There's a lot of other ones, but Vortex is a oldie but goodie. So really great site. Hopefully the weather is not too bad because I know it's outside, right?
Oh
From the
yeah,
outside part.
yeah, oh yeah. You know it. I thought it was gonna be crazy hot, but it was.
it wasn't actually, it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, it was
I think
surprisingly good.
the fan and the misters helped. I don't know how long that's going to be sustainable as far as the weather goes for through July and August. Hopefully, though, like given that it's almost like a breezeway because of the way it's set up, it'll work itself out. But it wasn't bad at all.
What did you think, Mr. Dave?
I loved it. I really like the fact that it felt like a different vibe from Barrel of Fun. Completely, like the venue's part of that, but also like the atmosphere was really great, and a ton of poets that came out that like just out of the blue. I connected with an old friend of mine who I hadn't seen in ages, who was apparently working the event, and I had no idea because they had transitioned in the time since I had seen them last. And it was really wonderful to run into them again. I saw like 4 poets who have come to Austin Poetry at some point, but like I haven't seen them in a while, and they just popped in randomly. Like Dashade was there. I haven't seen Dashade in ages. But like there's a lot of poets that live in that area, like just people. It's like a good spot. It's got foot traffic. But like the night went off amazing. There was a whole bunch of new voices that I'd never heard before. Like it was just, it was everything that you would hope for in an open mic.
I love that. I love that is here. Dashay being there is huge. Dashay don't go nowhere.
I was gonna say was he there the second half? I didn't see him the first half.
He probably went home afterwards because he up there. But yeah, he's been to Austin APS since we've been at Mueller at least once. So he definitely tries to keep a pulse of what's going on in the community. Yeah, I'm really happy that is there, and like let's just keep building, keep pushing, you know what I mean? Like I want it to be where there is a show every day, because I don't want anyone to ever be like, I never got to say what I needed to say because I was never off on Mondays and Wednesdays. Like we need to make sure that every day there's something that people can go to, and you might get, I mean, Tom the World Poet might show up since it's a free show, so just
well,
prepared, friend.
If you want to see
you
Tom,
truly
he's
made
still
it
doing
into
every
Austin
Sunday.
if Tom the World Poet makes his entryway. And if you're like, what is he? You will know him when you see him. There's no way to. He's Australian. He apparently, allegedly, he has taken every drug known to man, and that is a quote from him.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and but he's also one of those, like, if it's a free open mic show, I will promote it. He has a thing against slam, which everybody got something against slam. So
Apparently the theme.
it is a theme. It is a theme. I pulled my back on Tuesday. No, I did a bike exercise on Wednesday before the slam. I did not stretch beforehand, which I didn't think I needed to stretch because I was on a bike. Little do you know, dummy. You're
stretch. Old now.
I am old now. You used to stretch. Like you said, you could do yoga every day just to like
just to live,
Mind right.
just to get through the day.
Oh no.
Shit.
Oh man, yeah. I start my journey with a chiropractor on the 12th of July. So I'd never been to one, and so we'll gotta do something. This having a bad back is terrible. So
It's the worst.
it's worse, and surgery is not an option. So, not that like no religious thing. I just don't want to have back surgeries because once you have one, you're gonna have another back surgery.
Forever.
Yeah, you're gonna forever have back issues. Anywho, how's everybody? 1 to 10. We didn't do that. How's everyone doing today? How are you feeling today?
I think I'm sitting at a solid 9.
Okay. Now nine is high. Okay.
No complaints.
Dave, what are you? 1 to 10.
I'm thinking 9 too. I know it's a bit
I
high,
love
but
that.
like, today's a good day. I got a bunch of stuff done. I felt productive, like a bunch of good.
I wouldn't say I was productive, but I was a 9 for sure. 9 is good. 9 good. How you feel, Mike?
I'm at a 10. I'm gonna give it a full 10. Like
Oh, wow.
I am bubbling over. There's a lot of love going on right now. Like my family was here. I'm on a podcast with family right now. Like this is a 10 for me.
I like it.
Okay, well, I'm happy that we are, because this will give us a good segue into our next topic, which is about slam teams. So, Awesome Poetry Slam has been around for now 30 years. This is our 30th anniversary. Fireworks. But we have had a team since the beginning of, I would say APS is probably one of those legacy teams that have been a part of the Nat. When we used to have National Poetry Slam or Nats, I think it was the first 5 or 6 teams were us, New Eurekan, Hollywood Slam team, which is now what do they call themselves? They're the one that Shion is over, the Poetry Lounge. So them, I want to say another New York team, Urbana, and then Chicago. Right? It was 5 that's the teams I can think of is that's also in the 30 plus range is probably those 5 teams. And it started out really, really small. I don't know when the first nationals was. Y'all can go look that up. It's on Wikipedia. I also do hate when people ask me trivia about Poetry Slam, and I'm like, are you trying to test me if I know it? It's I'm not a historian. But I'll tell you what I know. So it grew. I think the last time we had a nationals was it had to be 2019, 2018, 2017, somewhere around there. And unfortunately, PSI dissolved, Poetry Slam Inc. And so we've kind of been trying to figure out how to continue to have these slams and group pieces and stuff. Because yes, people should just write to write, and people should do poems to poem. But if you're in slam is a competition. And, I'm not saying that, we have to win every time, but we have to do we're a team that is known to do very well at slams. We are definitely a semifinals team. We have touched final stage in multiple ways throughout the decades. But it's something that we take very seriously because we take it as we are representing our city, we are representing our state, and we're representing the people that couldn't be on the stage with us. And so we do take it very seriously, even though the game in and of itself is not serious, but the work that we are doing is. And so I just wanted, I could definitely talk about my experience. I will talk about my experience of being on a slam team and kind of giving context to Awesome Poetry Slam and Austin Neo Soul. And Dave will as well. But Mike is from Fort Worth originally, And so Mike will have a different perspective than, say, ours. And just being in the Dallas poetry scene, Dallas Fort Worth poetry scene is very different from the Austin poetry scene, which is very different from Houston, which is very different from San Antonio. And maybe we'll get like all of us on a pod one day, and we'll just talk about our scenes and how like Texas as a whole has been. But Mike, if you could kick us off, just like, what was your experience being on your first team? And then, like, just go from there.
Got you. Okay, first team, that would be the Fort Worth Slam team of 2011. Our slam master at the time was Mr. Michael Gwynn. I don't know if anybody had any experiences with Mr. Gwynn, but he's definitely a character. Shout out Michael Gwynn.
Shout out Michael Gwynn.
Shout out my boy Michael Gwynn.
Mike Gwynn.
Mike Gwynn, that's my dude. Holler at me, bro. So that was my first time being on any team. And it was wild because you go in expecting it to be kind of like your regional slam, like you're expecting to hear kind of like poetry like your regional slam. You're expecting to write poems like what you do, but it's completely different. Like the first time I went to nationals, like I was on a team with my boy Chris and Dwayne Madden, and they humbled me. They really did. They were like, first of all, yeah, that stuff you write here, that shit is cool, but nationals, that shit sucks. All of it sucks. Throw it away. We're gonna have to write all new stuff. And I'm like, bro, I just came first to slam. What are y'all talking about? Hey, nationals is a completely different thing. It is not like here. So you're gonna have to step up your game. So that was my introduction. And then
did you say you won?
What's up?
Did you say you won?
I didn't win. I think I came in third.
Okay. I was, never mind. I was gonna say something, but continue on the story.
Yeah. So that's when you start your writing process. And that's also kind of weird because everybody's writing poetry and you're giving it to somebody else to kind of tear it up and rip it up. And that can happen it can either happen in a good way or a bad way. The good way that you get your poem ripped up is if somebody puts it in a team piece and they use, a lot of lines for your poems to make the team piece work. The bad way is if they look at your poem and they tell you it's trash. And that was like a reoccurring thing in the DFW. Like there was we didn't let you down easy. It was just, we said what we said. So then we go to Boston and it was crazy.
This is the first time in Boston, right?
First time in Boston. We go to the first time in Boston. And I'm like all wide-eyed because there's like dudes playing trumpets on the street while people are ciphering. I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like all the nerd poet in me was just all the bells were going off. And I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. And the first bout I ever saw, Jean Ann Verlee does this therapy poem in the basement. Everybody's sitting on the floor, like it's just this crowded room and it's real dark. And it's like, it changed my life because I had never heard somebody deliver a poem like slow and methodically like that. And the room just lose it. Like everybody just be hanging on every word. After that, I said every word.
I saw what you did there.
After that, like I totally fanboyed. It was like, I went up to Jean Ann Verlee. I had her sign a book I bought and everything. But like, it was that process right there. Because you know what? I forgot. It was also Giselle's first nationals too. So me and Giselle Robinson, who is passed on, it was both of our first nationals together. So I got to fanboy, and that was something that, you know, I hadn't gotten to do before. So it was just an overall like a really eye-opening experience. I would suggest going to a national kind of poetry slam for anybody who's just interested in the genre at all. Just the experience that you can get there and the feelings.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like the first time that I got on the team, it was definitely the same thing where like I went in thinking, oh, I am one of the top ranked poets in this area, like my shit don't stink. And then when I got to the tournament, like after the first day, I was like, no, I need to write a lot better. I am not on the same level everyone else. And it was eye-opening for me to, with other poets, come through peace for the first time. You know, like all the theater that goes with in a group piece, and like, you know, practice your pacing and speaking in unison and like things I was not accustomed to at all, because like, I mean, I did theater way back in the day, but that was like way day. So it was like learning new skills over and over and over. And like just to see like the wealth of amazing talent that shows up at national competition, kind of like, it was mind-boggling, you know, like where the first was in, I remember thinking, oh, that first was good. I really like that. That was really good. Contain every single poet that went up, and I was like, no, these are all phenomenal artists, and like all of us should win. Like, that was kind of amazing to me.
Yeah, I think I have a very my first team was in 2009, the Austin Neal Soul Slam team, which I was actually fifth. I was runner up. And Michelle Desiree, she dropped out because she fell in love and she wanted to, like, I don't know, travel the world with her new girlfriend. And so then I was the fourth man up. And so I felt like I had a lot to prove on that team because I didn't officially make the team. You know what I mean? And we weren't doing 5-man teams at the time. We were doing 4-mans. And so I just felt like I just had a lot to prove. And Ebony Stewart, watching her perform was like watching theater all the time. And I'm like, if I'm going to be on a team with like an actual like actress, I need to get my shit together. And so it was me, Jomar, cousin Sarah, and Ebony. Brian was our coach, and like Be Friends is like a walking, living icon legend for us. So it was a lot of like, you know, you're walking in the footsteps of giants. At that time, Austin Neo Soul was on us. They made final stage in 2006. And so with that, we were still riding that high. And my first like practice was so fun. We were there. We practiced damn near else every day. You can't do that when you have kids and you're like a real adult. We weren't. I think, you know, Ebony was at school. Cousin Sarah, she worked at Texas State. Me and Jomar, we were doing whatever. He was in school. I was here. And so I didn't have any kids, nothing like that. So we were literally practicing every day. I think at the end of that, we had like 13 group pieces.
Yo, that's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, on top of our indies that we had. It was just a fun team. Me and Ebony did this poem about bulimia, and I was like her alter ego in the poem. There's a recording of it somewhere. But I got to like really act, and it was really fun. And after that, I tried out for Austin Poetry Slam again in 2010. I didn't make the team, but apparently I scored enough points to try for Austin Poetry Slam finals. And I was like, I'm not going to make that team. There's like Andy and there's just so many other people that have made that team that I was like, to me, were gods. So I was like, there's no way that they're going to let an actual peasant on that team. So I did, I did my poem. Mike Henry, who was running APS at the time, he's like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Because there's not a lot of people that went from Austin Neil Soul to Austin Poetry Slam. A bit of a racial divide, a bit of a boys club, whatevs. And so there weren't a lot. So the year before, in 2009, Faylita Hicks, she made the slam team at Austin Poetry Slam. She was the first Black woman to be the slam champ at Austin Poetry Slam. And then I was coming for like, if I make the team, great. If I don't, it is what it is. These ain't my people. And I made the team. I could have made first place, but then Dashay freaked me out because I was at the end of the first round. I was the lead. And he's like, are you ready for blood? Are you ready to take their souls? And I was like, I don't even know about taking blood. I'm just here for a good time. Y'all was real intense over here. And so I wound up like kind of doing a funnier poem, which was to my detriment, and I made third place. But I was like, third is not last. So, updates on that. And that team in 2010 was me, Seth Walker, Danny Strack, Christopher Lee, and Lacey Root. And we had no coach.
Wow.
Oh, that's a combination there. Ooh.
Looking back on that team, what talent. Wow. Like,
what talent?
If we played our cards right, which we did not, but if we played our cards right, we could have made it on to finals. It was an easier team to make it on finals than my first team, because three of us were new. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. And I love Ebony, but Ebony couldn't hold all three of us. So us making it in the semis was a lot. And something always happens in semis. I don't know why. Something always happens in semis. But anyway, my first semis, the lights went out on us and we got a time penalty. I don't know how we did that. I don't know how the lights go out and we got a time penalty. Wild. But Minnesota was like, the soapbox slam was pretty much a shoe-in to win. And Sierra DeMulder, she was like 17, 18 on that team. And just as haunting and very slow and methodical with her stuff. But anyway, the 2010 team, when I heard we made it to semis, I was like, oh, wow. That is crazy. That is crazy. The whole team was in one room. I was in another. Ain't no way. Mike was like, you don't have to all be in the same room. Ain't no way. I'm gonna be in my own room. Because you don't have a coach. When you don't have a coach, you don't have someone that, even if they're not a good practice coach, there's a difference. Like, there's somebody in your practice that's like helping you memorize, helping you block. That's one person. There's a person that just needs to pull the trigger and say, you're doing this poem. And I think that's just be a person that is not on the team. I think everyone should have a coach.
Yeah.
And we were in semis, and Seth was like, I'm gonna do my tree poem. And we were like, I don't think you should do that. That's not the plan that we came in here with. But he's like, no, the tree poem is gonna no, it wasn't a tree poem. We asked him to do the tree poem, and he wanted to do another poem, which hindsight, it was a very problematic poem. Because they had like a weird accent or something in it. Seth, I love you, but like it was not. If you ask him today, if you ask Seth Walker today, he stands 10 toes by his decision. And kudos to you. It was not the right poem. And we did not make it. Again, we were up against Minnesota once again. I was like, guys, I know how this plays out. Just everyone just chill out. They had everyone else. I think the second place person, they had them by 3 points. We were all mapped out by round 2. And I was like, he was like, I could pull us out, guys. I was like, yeah. I mean, at that point, stars. I don't know.
Yeah, just
but very
three. You got this.
Very. I mean, the confidence is wild. I wish I had it. I do the poem someone tells me to do. These are the poems that I have ready. You just tell me which one I'm supposed to do, and then I do that poem. And then I sit my ass back down. And then I don't know scores. I don't know how numbers work until like Brian would call to us to be like, okay, 29-5. And we were like, okay. Audit coach.
That was 29-5 right here.
I think that's what this
we
one
would come off the stage and we was like, was that it?
Was that it?
I would be so offended. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, baby, you did great. You did great. Okay. 29-5. How? Okay, I'm gonna, sir. If you don't mind,
it was a 29-4. It wasn't quite a 29.
Punch it in there.
I do remember like one of the first Nats that I ever went to, a B fan, and he wasn't like a coach, but he was like, helping to keep track of the scores.
Sure.
And, like he did the thing, and he's like, all you got to do is get a 29-9, and your team can progress to the next round. And I was like, oh, that's it? And he's like, yeah, but you're gonna do a 30, and it'll be fine. And I was like, I just need a perfect score. Okay, let's go do that.
No biggie.
Let's go get that perfect.
No biggie. Man, I remember once I was at Welts. It was my second year at Welts, which is the Women of the World Poetry Slam. And it's my second year. So my first year, I placed 10th. I did get to do one poem on final stage. And so the second year, I want to say we were in Denver. And I'm looking at one of our bouts, my second night, as a 2-minute and 3-minute bout. Out of 12 poets, 10 of them had been on a final stage. Insane. Rachel McKibben, Gypsy Yo, myself, Aaron, who just won iWhips not too long, like the year before that. Literally stacked. And so Ebony Hogan from New York, she was in it. So we're looking at this list, we're like, yay. And a poet is behind us who we do not know, and she was like, what does that mean? I'm in that bout with y'all. And we were like, that's it. It's gonna be great. Everything's gonna be fine. It's awesome. You're gonna be great. You're gonna be great. We did not know we were talking to actually Portia O, who actually is a monster and a half. And so we do a poems, and she's like literally terrified because she's like, why y'all say that about all the people that nothing? We don't even why? Who knows? We didn't know we were actually in there with a whole crocodile about to chomp us up. So yeah, it just things like that happen at nationals where you get humbled, and you should leave. If you leave a nationals and you're like, or Walps or iWhips or Southern Fried or Blackberry Pea, if you leave one of those and it's like, I'm good, I'll never have to write again, all of my things are perfect, I am perfect, you've missed the point, friend. You've missed the point. And the points ain't that point, which we have t-shirts, which you should go on our on the poetry to get them. Shameless plug. Yeah, but I think that my experience from 2009, 2010 was very different from 2013. 2013, we I wouldn't say we just knew we should win, but it was a very good team. It was a very, very good team. It was me, Safi, Billy, Good Ghost Bill, Kevin Burke, and Zay Sadler. And Zay was our slam champ that year. It was a very good team. We all knew each other. We all had poems together. Me and Zay had our Nina Simone piece, and we had some other pieces. And so we felt really good about that year. But slam is a game, and sometimes the game bites you, and sometimes you succeed. And so also it is a humbling experience being in semis, having sudden death, losing it by one vote. I don't think I've recovered. Let's say recovered is a strong word. I know that team was like a super special team, and I don't know if I've ever found a group of humans that I felt the same way, or if I have the energy for it, like y'all can do. Our bouts better be the early bouts, because if it's the late bout, I'm going to bed. I'm not coaching. I'm not talking to nobody. Sign me out. I'm not going.
I do miss that kind of camaraderie, that kind of kinship that you feel with the people that you're on a team with. That's like experience that you can't recreate. Like completely unique, and like so many inside jokes, like that no one else would get. Like
so
many
that still live on today.
Yeah.
I got so much footage, y'all. I got so much footage.
Oh man. Yeah, and then just going to nationals and just seeing all the other Texas teams, because we don't really get a chance to see them. So my first time meeting Mike was at nationals. Giselle was man. Giselle was just a firecracker, man. There's no one that you couldn't be around Giselle and like not instantly love her and like want to party with her. She's from St. Thomas. And so she reps her island well, and man, she was a great soul. So like she made sure really that Fort Worth and Dallas was even cordial and in honor of Giselle.
For real.
Because she didn't care. She was like, we're all from Dallas, we're all from Texas. Like, let's represent, let's yeah. So yeah, I met some of my best friends, some of the best people in the world at nationals, and I'm really excited about bringing it back, having a team. I don't know what capacity I will be with this team. I definitely will be going to Southern Fried because it's in the few months that I'm off of work, and so I will be there. But more as I'm gonna make sure our seats are there. I'm gonna make like logistic stuff. But I am excited about seeing these new batch of poets. Regardless of who will be on the team, there will be some new people that have never been on a team before, and this will be their first experience.
Yeah.
And so, what advice would you have for someone with it being their first kind of national event?
I'll start. I would say go into it open-minded, humble yourself, and the most important thing to do is take in every moment. Like, you're going to be sharing very intimate space, very intimate work with this small group of people for weeks, maybe even months. And then at the end of that is going to come in a culmination of you going to a competition together to compete. I would say, remember that the most important part is the time you spend with these people. The competition is really not that big of a deal when you think about the totality of what you're getting out of this experience. It's about you bonding with these people, sharing your work, and growing as a person. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree. I think that the main takeaway for me was that it'll like Slam inherently has this level of intimacy because of the nature of what you're doing, right? Like you're getting on stage and you're revealing these intimate truths about yourself, and you're being emotionally vulnerable with people around you, and so it naturally leads to people like hopefully reaching out and comforting you. But like when you get onto the team, like that is so much more intensified. But it's also like it's a learning experience to like have your poem reworked by someone else, and like some of my favorite pieces are like group pieces that like I never would have written if these people weren't a part of my life, and that of like growth and opportunity and camaraderie. So like there is many amazing people that I've seen regionals at nationals that just like went up, absolutely killed it, and then afterwards they came up to me and said that they liked my piece, and I was like, I was fanboying over you. Hold on, let's recognize each other for a second. Like it's so good. Like it's just it's so rewarding. And like even if you don't make final stage, even if you don't bring home a trophy, it doesn't matter. Like you will spend all of your free time with a small group of people for a random period of time, and it will all be worth it.
Thanks.
Yeah, my advice is very similar to everybody else's. Like, enjoy it. You only get to be on one slam team, your first slam team one time. And everybody is not, everybody don't get the privilege to do that, right? There are a lot of people I know that had tried for multiple years on slam teams and just never got there. So have a good time.
It took me 4 years.
Yo. And really took me a year and a half from the time of being like actually on the team, like top 5 or whatever, top 4. Yeah, just enjoy it. For Rachel has not been on the team yet. Rachel's the baby. She's a baby. I guess from your perspective, like, what questions do you have about slam? Because I feel like for people not in the community, Poetry Slam and Poetry Slam teams sound weird together. The word, what you slamming? So like, what are some questions that you have about slam, or slam teams? And then like, what do you think new poets should like think about if they want to be on a slam team? Kind of, you're slamming. You might want to be on a team. I don't know people's intentions, but like, what do you think about the experience you've had so far in Poetry Slam, and like, what are some questions that you have about being on a team?
Whew, so much. So like, to preface, I don't know what I don't know, and a lot of that has like I've learned so much, honestly, just in the March, April, May, June 4 months that I've been working with APS. I've learned so much about like the inner workings of it that I didn't know before. I didn't know that. I mean, I guess the first question, like starting at the very base, is how do you get into slam, just period. And I mean, for me, it was, I started watching spoken word poetry, Russell Simmons, when I was really young. always been interested in it, and I kind of slowly started participating over the last 5 years, with the exception of, the Rona period. But yeah, I mean, I think as far as like the non-involved person kind of just starting out, the first question would be, how do you get involved in slam, period? And then, excuse me. And then, how does that evolve into, like, how do you get good enough to even be looked at for a team? When you're looked at for a team, how are teams chosen? When the teams are chosen, how do you take people like the group that we're looking at right now? How do you take people with extremely different life perspectives and experiences and come together in a piece that is cohesive and impactful and all of those things that not only score well but are received well? Like, how does that come together? When you give your piece to someone else to read, what's the guideline for how much chopping up there is? Is there a guideline? I just think that there's so much, literally from like the infancy of the process, that just the average person who is casually interested in poetry wouldn't know. And as far as like the advice that you all had talked about, it's crazy because I've experienced that on obviously a much more micro scale, just being in slam on, the APS weekly stage. From like one of the first slams at APS at Mueller, I got third. I would have got second, but I got a time penalty. But I got third, and I've not made top 3 since. And then on top of that, like the experience of like feeling like you're a good writer, or you kind of have your shit together, and then you see somebody go up like fucking Michael Hatcher doing his Lil Wayne poem, or Chris Formey doing his Switches poem, and you're just like, sheesh, I suck at this. Going to the Juneteenth slam and seeing these people who have, and it's hard to not like judge yourself or your writing or your skill set, because like y'all are talking about slams from when I was graduating high school, or right after I was graduating high school, and I've not been writing consistently that long. I've not, so it's kind of hard to take it from a positive standpoint, like, oh man, I have so much to learn, as opposed to, oh fuck, I have a lot to learn. But yeah, like I told Dave after the Juneteenth slam, I was like, I need to practice.
Yo, I don't think any poet worth their salt has ever not said that. But like, I gotta write. I gotta do better.
Right.
I gotta be
absolutely.
better.
Gotta take it up.
Yep.
I saw Allende Russell from Denver. He did a poem like in honor of his wife, and I was like, I don't even like anybody enough to write anything like this for anyone.
Crazy.
First time I saw, so my favorite poet, my favorite spoken word artist is Patricia Smith. She is the first Black woman to win an individual poetry slam. She was highlighted on HBO. She did a poem in the persona of a skinhead, which is wild.
Yeah, that's
wild.
crazy.
Like the older I get, and I think about that poem that a Black woman, very dark-skinned Black woman, did a persona poem as a skinhead.
That's intense.
Okay,
That's
all
dope.
right.
Okay. That's what that is.
She has a poem. She has a book called Blood Dazzler, and it's about people that came out of Katrina. She's from the Boston area, but she did these persona poems. It was like 13 elderly people that were left in a in a home, and they all drowned. And so she wrote vignettes in each one of their voices.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I'm not even like creative enough to like build a world. I think sometimes as poets, we like keep things very on the page. We got to get 200, 300 words, so the time penalty. There are poets out here building worlds in less than 3 minutes. And I was like, man, I need to build a world. I need to build the thing. And then when I found out also that, again, the book Ready Player One, if you have not read that, it's great. It's like a huge nostalgia game. It's super nostalgia gaming book. There's an adventure. If you're like, I hate books, weird. But if you're listening to a poetry podcast, weird.
Are you lost?
But if you don't have the time to read the book, listen to the audiobook. Audiobook is also really great. The movie is also really great, Steven Spielberg. But there's a line that says, I don't want to do this. I build worlds. Like, that's my job. I build worlds all the time. And so I thought, like, as poets, as writers, we have the ability to literally build entire universes and multi-universes with just our pen. And we sometimes take that for granted. And the time, sometimes the time limits us and we think, we don't have enough time to tell an entire story, but you do. Mike, your Little Wayne poem. I did listen to your poems back then and when you were in Fort Worth, but we were always in competition. So like, transparently, it's very difficult for me to listen to poems and be in
competition. Like, fuck that poem.
People. I'm like, he didn't say nothing. What I will say, the feeling I have is he did not say anything offensive, and it was not bad writing. There are some people that just have bad writing or
not your taste.
Don't name names.
All right. I wasn't gonna name names. I'm not gonna name names. I am not gonna name names.
Like, and we're blacklisted. Okay.
It's very predictive. I will say this. This is my one pet peeve. I think it's my only one. I may have another. I can't think of it yet. When people say it, when you are performing a poem and people say, you see, I see what? I'm looking at you, friend. And maybe it's my neurodivergent ass because I'm like, I'm going to take that literally. You see, sir, you're already explaining to us what it is that you see. You don't have to tell us you see. Also, another thing I don't like is like when they rewind themselves. And so they're like, they do a line and they're like, I'm going to say it again. No one
clearly y'all wasn't feeling it
No one has said do it again. I'm gonna say it again. Why?
Clearly,
do you know it's time? We are on a time crunch, friend. You're not.
Oh, God.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah, you see, drives. I literally will stop listening to a poem when someone says, "Da-da-da," and you see, nope, not anymore.
I did not. I missed it.
Missed it. So I remember that your poem tree was very personal, and I remember that it did not offend me. And I remember I listened. I like stopped and I was like, "Oh, Mike, I like Mike." There are some people I cannot say that about. So when you came to Austin and you signed up, you were at the Native, and I was like, "Oh, Mike Hatcher in town." When did this happen? No, did not know this fool has been living there for well over a year.
Been there.
It was during the pandemic. So like, how would he have known? I was like, "Oh my God, Mike, you in town? What you in town for?" He's like, nah, I live here. And I was like, well, I remember going up to Joe Bar that day. I was like, did we know that Mike Catcher moved to Austin? And he's like, no. Okay. I was like, God damn, I'd hate for that man to come up like the year before or call me and be like, "Hey, I'm coming down. I'm living there. Check me out." I don't remember any of those things. If you did, Mike, I'm so sorry. My brain, not good.
He did push delete.
Actually, I did.
You a lie.
I'm just joking. I'm
Ooh, you letting that devil rummage up in you. Don't let him do it. Don't let him do it. Defeat him. Let him know.
Speaking
So
of world
my-
building, one of the first poems that I heard, like one of the times that and please don't tell him I said this.
on a
One of the-
podcast, so I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe he won't know. It's fine. Christopher Michael's 16th Street Baptist Church poem. I have heard that poem at least 5 times, and every single time I cry. And that is one of the first times that I was like starstruck in the poetry community. But that's why I was like, don't
He's
tell
gonna
him.
eat it up. He's gonna listen to this one bit over and over again.
Please don't tell him.
Whenever he gets sad, he gonna replay it over and over again. Speaking of, you're hosting with him this week too. Next week, you're gonna be co-hosting.
What?
How crazy!
Yeah, that like, and like I hear y'all talk about poets that you've shared a stage with that I used to watch on Russell Simmons Presents Deaf Poetry.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Jason Carney comment on one of Chris's posts the other day. I'm like,
oh yeah, Carney's the homie. Yo,
that is
Carney is the
crazy.
homie.
Yeah.
He has a poem called Southern Heritage that I could recite to you right now. Like,
Yeah,
it's so
Jason
crazy.
Carney, his story's so crazy because he grew up as a white nationalist.
Yeah,
Like his family is.
that's what the poem is about. Yeah,
And so his oh man, he just lost his wife, I think last year to COVID, or not last year, but like in the middle of COVID, his wife passed away. I think it was a stroke, something like really freakish. But Carney is the reason why I got to host semifinals at nationals.
wow.
So I bout managed for Kate for we're all from Texas, so he like took care of me anyway. And so Jason was like, "Hey, you want to bout manage for me?" And so you can see what it is, because I hosted the smaller bouts, but I never hosted the bigger ones. And then I did bout manage terribly. I bout managed so bad. I'm not a good bout manager. Like
I just realized I need to start doing something. I need to be intentional about like interrupting and asking for definitions of things, because somebody that's not involved does not know what a bout manager is.
Sure. Yes. So a bout manager, yeah, perfect. So a bout manager is like the person that gets the judges, that checks in with the
Poets.
Checks in with the poet. No, just I don't know. Basically all of the logistical things for a bout to happen.
Yeah.
The bout manager does. The host talks to the poets, gets them at ease, and then runs the show. And the bout manager basically like the time and the number. 5.
Get the Instant Pop blow up.
Great. I will be there later.
Yeah. The last week, like I was the bout manager.
Okay.
Because I made sure the cards got where they needed to be for the draw.
Yeah.
I let Lorelai know when we needed to start. Made sure that times were kept and scores were kept. Even if like the bout manager isn't the timekeeper, like they'll assign that role to someone. Just
and they
all
usually,
the logistics behind it.
Yeah, and for whatever, I know what reason, but nationals, we wrote everything on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So the bout manager was also in charge, right? The dark times. So you also had to sign off when you were a poet. You had to sign off on the poems too.
Mm-hmm.
So the bout manager would take care of all of that stuff. So anyway, I did that for Jason. I did not do a great job, but I was entertaining enough. And when they were pulling out names for semis, I got assigned a semi. So that was my first time getting assigned a semifinal bouts. And then I just kept volunteering for them. One time I hosted, I do not recommend anyone doing this, but I really like hosting. I would host a 7 p.m. bout. I hosted a 9 p.m. bout that same night. The second night I would host host something during the day, like an open mic, and then I would be hosting another 7 and 9 o'clock bout, and then on Friday I would host the semis. And then one time I did get to host the finals, which is I was when we were in DC, which was so much fun. We were in a synagogue and they said I couldn't curse, and I'm like, well, why would you put me here? I did
Why am I here?
Yeah,
Somebody messed up.
the one that you picked me for.
I was
Yes,
the
in
wrong
a
choice
synagogue.
here.
Jeez Louise. I forgot where we were going with that, but with Mike. So when you came and the first poem that I like heard you, like I sat down and I didn't do anything, was the Lil Wayne poem. And I think you did one before that, and I was like, oh, Mike writing right. Oh,
When I tell you,
Mike
you
is
hit
right.
that line about everything God said was written in red, I was like,
just so many different Easter eggs. Really,
I'm like,
we should do
is
like
that a
a
triple
it's a
entendre
dense
in a
poem.
poem?
yeah, we should really do a have like they have like episodes explained. We should do one of those for for poems, and like, oh, a genius,
Fire.
Yeah.
genius,
Yes.
and then have them. This is how we come up with great ideas, and then have poets like go through each line. Now, people that ain't shit, you'll find out quickly because they'll have like, oh man, I just I put that together.
It says that
Right,
because
what I
that
know.
is what I meant.
Okay. I said what I said. And I
orange
said
here,
it on the mic.
because the color orange.
Right. Next, settle that idea away for something else. But man,
Yeah.
like Mike, ever since you have like blasted on the scene, you have just been
That poem last week
writing.
was crazy.
That grandmother poem.
Yeah.
I
Michael's
met you.
Basilica. Like I have read that 4 times. 4 times. You sent that link to me last night.
That's crazy, Mr. Dave.
No, it's brilliant. Like,
yeah.
you reference like different parts of the poem later on and like loop it back, and it's one of the most poems I've read this year. Like without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh shucks. Oh, you guys are embarrassing me, man.
No,
Yeah,
last week when you likened like being in the recording studio to the sounds of like last breaths and like hospital sound, I was like,
and you said about the rattle, and you only know that if you have watched someone pass away. That death rattle is something that you will never forget. My dad, he passed away on New Year's Day, and they called me and they were like, yeah, he's not waking up, and he had to do not resuscitate. And so I went in there to kind of like collect his things, and like that death rattle, you don't forget that shit. No. And yeah, man, I mean, it just brought back so many different things that you don't want to think about, but you also have a way of like, anytime like a poet can like lighten up the mood, like Coffee, Dave's poem Coffee, you reference, I find Easter eggs hilarious, and I love them. I love when people hide shit in poems or comics or movies or TV, and I can like find the Easter egg while I'm watching, because again, I'm neurodivergent. So yes, I'm listening to the dialogue, but also like, oh my God, that t-shirt, did he have a, okay. Do I got that t-shirt? That t-shirt fire. So it's really nice that poets are also playing with their work and putting that in there and putting in references that maybe someone will get it, maybe someone will not. But it's always fun to play with stuff like that. Rachel, did you have a question about slam teams in particular, specifically?
So she did have like 6 that I can answer from way back.
Okay.
But did you have a question?
I'm like, I know you had a question about slam, but I didn't remember if it was specifically slam team?
Yeah, so the way that we put people on the team is we take the top poet and they compete in quarters. People who get first and second place go into semis or finals. From final, the top 5 poets become the slam team. There are,
And I want to preference, not all teams do it that way.
no.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna
there
ask
are a
if
bunch of different
everybody
ways to
have
do
a
it.
way.
There are as many different ways to figure out how to get your team as there are slam venues, like
Because New Rican used to be like you had to slam on one night, and then if you beat like Tuesday night slam, then you can be in the Friday night slam.
Yeah.
But sometimes they was playing because if you knew them, then they would like get you in the Friday night slam, so you didn't have to do the Tuesday. But I thought it was a good way to filter people, but also it creates a weird dynamic sometimes because people think that you can get them in when you really can't. And I just don't want to be the person to tell you no.
Can I do a quick aside real quick? The last time I went back to New York to visit my family, I performed at New Rican in like 2006, and I was bad. I was not a good poet. What I wrote was terrible, and I performed it badly. I did not deserve to do well. But I went back in like the very beginning of 2020, like before everything locked down. And I got second place when I performed at New Rican. And like
What'd you perform?
Oh my God, what did I perform? I think I did coffee and tea.
Coffee and tea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy,
mister.
listen here,
Oh.
Dave was gonna break your spirit. If you when Dave used to first perform, he has some like funny ones, but your poems, like, you dismantle people sometimes with them goddamn poems. When that poem about
That if you want to die alone poem, oh my God.
there
Every
are some
time.
poems, Dave, that we used to throw up Dave up there when we was on the team in 2020. When we go to LA?
2018, right?
2018. That's the last team I was on. We would just be like, Dave, make him cry. Get up there.
Yeah.
Feel.
I have
Throw 'em out their game.
Dave, you don't make him feel.
Your weapon is emotional abuse.
Yeah. The thing that I
What?
loved about that team though was like one person would say, okay, we need a 30. Another person would say, everyone has to cry. Another person came up to me and said, are you going to be okay to do this? Like, are you in the emotional space where you can handle this?
And that was Glory
Like,
for sure.
yeah,
Glory was
and
always
like,
checking in with us. You're emotional. Are you
That
okay to
sound
do
like
this?
Glory.
And me
Sound
and I
like
was
Glory.
like, drop her,
Say
drop.
that.
We are here to win. We are not here to make friends.
It's just Sparta.
oh, but that was such a good dynamic though.
And Doc was our coach, so that was fun.
Amazing. But anyway,
That
so-
team, I felt like that was gonna be my last team, and so I was like,
That was
I want
such
to
a
win
good
everything
team.
I possibly could. It was a great team.
All right, Rachel, getting back to the like 7 other questions that you had.
Sure, hit
Um,
him.
When you are practicing as a team or like when you first get together, there's a lot of different ways for you to combine poems. What I've seen work the most successfully is people come up and say, okay, what piece do you have that you would be willing to share or have other people write towards? And like you go over and you share a Google Doc where you look over the different poems that you have, and you can look over what you think would work well with other voices added to it, or like explain out, oh, well, I had this idea, but I can't do it by myself. There's also, I really like just free writing something with teammates where like it's not an indie, it's not There was a thing at Nats called primary authorship. So if you wrote the poem and other people wrote towards it, you had primary authorship. And that related to like what could go up in the ballot. So like you couldn't have the same person as primary authorship every single piece that you sent up, because that's one person carrying the entire team. That rule doesn't apply. You're right. That rule doesn't apply anymore because Nats isn't a thing anymore. But like I would say, like
someone shouldn't write all the words to your unless it's a play.
Right. The what I think is a good guideline is 50%, right? Like if 50% of the poem is your writing, that's your primary, right? Like what else was there? First National Poetry Slam was in 1990. It was only indies. 1994 was the first one that they had group pieces. 2008 is when WAUP started, and indie finals was replaced with group piece finals. Like it wasn't a separate thing. And then it was also the year 2008 was when New Pick started.
New Pick was the underground one.
Yeah.
Was the what?
It was called the Underground Slam.
Yeah.
So it used to be
National
after
Underground
Sydney.
Poetry Individual Competition.
Okay.
And UPIC.
Okay. So that ran a little differently. That was after semis. So it's like 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. Ooh. And poets put money in a pot. I think it was like $1,500, some dumb number. And they all put in like $30 or something, $30 cash. And they were doing poems for poets. So, yeah. And these poets have either already been inebriated because they did not make semis. And so they was like, I'm here for a good time. Never a long time. If you did make semis and you won semis, you're in bed. You're a finalist. This is no longer for you. You're getting some rest. If you made semis and you lost semis, you are now trying to catch up with everyone that didn't make
drowning their sorrows. Everyone.
That was us.
Okay.
That was definitely us in 2013 for sure. Zay and I.
So was it a camaraderie atmosphere, or was it like bitter?
It's like battle rap.
But I think I'm
It's like battle rap, but they're not competing against each other necessarily. Yeah. Well, yeah, it is battle rap. Because one person does a poem, the other one does a poem. Yeah, it's head to head.
And you're sitting in a circle. It's not like so people are circled around you and you're doing a poem.
Okay.
I did a stack because I will never put money out like that. Number two, I want to go to bed. And one year, it was the 2013 year, and I was already there. You know, I was already there. And
ready
they were like,
bed.
you want to do the sack? And I was like, sure. And then I went to bed. I don't even think I stayed for them to say who won. Hello.
It sounds intense though.
Yeah. Oh, and I did go to the New Pick. Oh, they also used to be a thing called like Last Chance, like the actual Last Chance Slam, and before Indies. And so you would pay $20, and if you won the last slot into WALPs or IWAPs or whatever you're gonna do.
Wow.
Yeah. And people would fly to that nationals, like it would be in Charlotte, and they flew to Charlotte to possibly not make it on the team or make it in the competition. I was there anyway in Charlotte because I was like, I'm going to volunteer. I'm a host, And then they were like, well, we need one more person. You got money? And I was like, nope. And then Allende paid for mine. And so I was like, well, I won anyway because I didn't pay to do this. I made it to the second round, but it was like Allende, it was Rudy, Francisco, me, some other pretty heavy hitters. And I wasn't like trying because I was like, if I don't make it, who ready? Oh, okay. They waiting on me.
Happy to know the Instant Pot did not blow up.
Hey,
win.
Let me go and figure out that. But wait, what the other? Dave will go through the other questions. I'll be right back. Apparently, for food.
I don't know where Mr. Dave went.
I'm still.
Oh, no.
I just. Quiet. So, Austin, it's won nationals in '98 and 2006 and 2007. No. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, it's cutting out a little bit on my end, but that might be me.
Austin won in 90, 2006, and 2007. And they got on, final stage a couple other times besides that. But 98 was the last time that Austin hosted the National Poetry Slam. And I actually have a t-shirt from that, even though that was 12 years before I moved to Austin. What were the other questions? So you would normally meet once a week at minimum, but realistically, like it's twice a week, and then like right before whatever event happens, it's pretty much you would meet up whenever you have any free time.
Yeah.
You would work on like group pieces with people individually, or try and meet up as a group as often as possible. The coach traditionally serves the of tightening everything up. They're the ones who like say, hey, you got this line and this line, pick one of them. Because you're at, you're going to go over a time penalty, which is more important to you. They're the ones who are going to like give you feedback on the blocking, which is your, the hand movements, the way that your body language is during the piece, to make it a bit more theatrical. And what was? Yeah, that was all six. That was the six.
I was going to say, please don't ask me because I was just
rapid
fire. Yeah, it's a lot. Whenever we started looking at the performance troupe stuff, I was like, these are three very different poets, stylistically, life, and just like type of people. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of that.
I honestly think that makes the best teams, though. Like the more different that the artists are, like it makes the team more well-rounded. So you are better at like strategy-wise for different scenarios. You know, like if you have a funny poet, you can bring up the funny poet for a piece. If you have, the really sad poet, you can use that and have that on deck, like ready whenever. Or like, if the judges are really into the writing, like get the hardcore writer up there and like, but like having a wide variety of voices, I think just makes it better for everyone. Like the pieces are more engaging for the audience because they're novel, they're different, like. I think that's. I was really excited to be able to do the first group piece poem that I've written in ages at the Every Word
It was so
open
dope.
mic.
It was
It was
amazing.
so good.
It was
That was a lot of
When
fun.
y'all started, I was like,
Yeah, we had both signed up independently, and then we sat next to each other, and Essie says, was like, "Hey, do you want to do the thing that we've been working on?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really do, but neither of us have it memorized. Whatever, we'll just read it off our phones."
yeah, that was so good.
And nobody
for it
was
to
going to
just be-
expect it.
Yeah, not at all.
no, we didn't see that one coming.
Me and Lorelai at the end were like, is this third together they're gonna do that? It's like very exciting. It's so crazy. Like, again, y'all have been doing this for forever, like decade plus, and it's just so crazy for me to like see like know y'all and then see you go up and do something like that I'm so just like awestruck by. And it's amazing because it gives me like a star to shoot for, but it's really there's some cognitive dissonance because it's like, oh my god, this is so amazing, I want to get at least this good. And then it's like, I have a long ways to go to catch up. So it is a very surreal experience, feeling like I kind of dove in so head first. But just like being so incredibly inspired by the level of talent that exists around me. And it occurred to me when I was doing the post for the merch, I was like, I looked up when the first like Austin, or when the first slam poetry like scenes were, and when they were created. I was like, APS is really one of the oldest, and it's again, I'm fangirling over a group that I'm part of, which is just an interesting feeling. It is an interesting feeling for sure.
So I do think that Austin is a weird kind of one-off situation, because the longer I'm here, the more like nationally and international poets keep moving to this city. Like, and so like it's crazy to me to like have these people who like I may have known from nationals or because they were on Def Poetry Jam, like become people that I regularly see every week, you know? And that's kind of incredible to me. I also feel like it is a really good thing for the scene because it does give you that boost to want to grow, to want to get better. Like the whole thing for me, like I will never feel like I am done learning how to write poetry. Like I constantly, I put out my best new piece and I'm like, okay, that was all right, but wait until I get good.
Crazy. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting experience. Did you chew on some neck bones?
I ate nothing. I just prepared the food for the children. As a good servant I am.
Oh yes.
The Lord and Lady are well fed. She'll turn them down later.
Now you'll take
That's
your
like
cup
his
and
talk.
rattle it against the bars.
Free my nigga.
Free
Free
I'm not saying that.
Well, the sentiment is there.
I made a shirt, guys.
Parenthood is the worst hood ever. 0 out of 0 stars.
That seems pretty bad.
I like Beat a Mom. Beat a Mom is great. Parenthood? Ugh. and you wonder why the population is declining. Who wants to do this? And now there's more men that's like, no, I'm active. I'm a be there for my kids. I'm present. Yeah, but then now you're around kids and you be like, oh, they not right. Nope. None of them. And now they have the internet, so they actually do know more than me, technically.
Terrible.
They just can't say it out loud.
They can just look it up faster than I can.
Absolutely. They can just ask it. This AI will just tell them now the answer. They don't have to look it up.
That's why you got to take kids camping, wherever there's no cell phone signal, and then you have all the answers.
You are the smartest person.
Sit around, kids.
He figured it
Let me
out.
tell you the time.
He cracked the code.
Can you show you how to start a
That's
fire?
another thing is like, you have to
Hold on.
seem boring to your children. If you seem interesting at all, they want to be around you. They want to talk to you. They want to know who you are. Hey man, I'm about to play video games and listen to NPR. If that's what you want to do, they're like, no.
No.
What I got for you over here, Camp. That's all I got for you over here. Final. I sorry I missed a little bit of it, but I just wanted to come back and like wrap us up real quick. And what is something that stuck with you this week? What is something that stuck with you this week? It could be slam related. It could be life related. It could be. None of all the shit is made up. So I'm gonna start with mine. Watching my thing I can't let go of, or the thing that stuck with me out this week is Lorelai hosting. She's gotten so much more comfortable in that space and role.
Yeah.
Being a host is not an easy task. It's a lot you have to keep up with, a lot of logistics, and I think that she is doing an awesome job holding on to those things. And I'm excited about Rachel hosting next week. I will be out of town that day, so I'll be just coming back into town. No, I'll be just coming back, and I normally don't do open mic. The open mic haiku is like the one night I give to myself, but yeah, I'm. Hopefully, we can have it live streamed or something, so I can see what's going on. What did I say? You know I don't come on second Wednesdays. Everyone knows that by now.
I get voluntold, and she's like, "Okay, good luck with that. Bye."
Okay, bye. You got Chris. Dave is gonna be there. Listen, you gonna have a good time. That I think hosting an open mic is a lot more relaxing than hosting a slam.
I'm honestly not super worried about it, and maybe that's a little bit arrogant, but I have had the benefit of seeing somebody that I consider to be one of the best hosts that I've ever seen do anything, and being his co-host. So I don't think he will allow me to fail. Too bad.
Right.
He might allow a little failure for learning.
Chris's arrogance and ego, he wouldn't have volunteered to co-host with you if he did not think that you could do it. So if that
facts.
Yeah,
Straight
he not
facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have.
You're not gonna make me look foolish.
These are probably the exact words that have come out of his brain. The exact words.
And now we are definitely gonna know when he listens to this podcast.
Because he gonna say something about it for sure. He gonna have some words for you. Dave, what's one thing that stayed with you this week?
I have a there is a haunting line from Michael's Basilica about a broken mirror and looking at yourself and taking care of your inner child. And that is, I've been looking at that mirror, like it's really stuck with me. So I love a lot of the pieces that came up on New Shit Night, and normally it's like 50-50, like, oh, this one was good, this one was real bad, this one was good, that was okay. But I would say like a good 85% of the poems that went up, like first, second, third round, were solid, like really good work. But there's going to be a few that really stuck out with me and like haunt me in the best way.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that I have that I'm trying to do, and actually, Mike, I still need you to send me that poem, is whenever, instead of letting the various media auto caption the poems, I want to have the poets send me the poems so that I can make sure that the captions are correct, because I think obviously this is a medium that the words matter and they're so important. And I don't know if that's something that stuck out this week, but it feels important this week. And kind of something that's recurring is how much not to be a broken record, the points ain't the point. Like, it is very much the catharsis that happens in writing and reading and experiencing other people's poetry, and how important getting it is. I think that's what it was specifically. It was a hard judging week. The judges were rough, and it's what did we have, 10 5s or 5 10s all night?
I mean, we had a 5.
Yeah, we had a 5.
I think one of them had a 4.
I think we had a 4. Like,
somebody had to listen.
Yeah, it was rough.
Anything under 6, I actually will try to fight you. I'm gonna find you.
Because what? Motherfucker, you do it.
What did I say to offend you in such a way that a 4 would be what you give me?
Yeah.
A 4?
That's crazy.
Out of 10?
That's 10, bro. That's
I'm not even asking for a 10. I'm not even asking for a 9, low key. I just boo everything lower than a 9 because it feels right. And I fight. Boo again. Boo. I also like very high bouts. I like when percentages is like you're off by a 10th, as opposed to like I got mapped out. That's not fun. I want everybody to feel the pins and needles. No one should be comfortable. But a 4? No.
4 is crazy.
I've only gotten a 4 one time. It was at Nationals in 20. I'm not opening the door. I don't want to open the door.
I don't think you can talk to the warden like that.
Anyway, yeah, Mike, say yours, and then we'll wrap up. What's one thing that stayed with you?
I'm gonna say, just gratefulness. A lot of awesome things have been falling my way, and I've been bonding with people. Man, let me tell y'all something. When we went to Blackberry Peach, the time I spent with Mr. Dave was some of the most fun I've had in years. Just talking and having conversations and just competing at a level like that, and watching my Austin APS brother going crazy on stage. It was just amazing. And it feels like that wave followed me back home. With every word and everything just starting off, and the support and the love. So I'm just in the spirit of gratefulness right now.
That's wonderful. I had a hell of a good time at Blackberry Peach, like for so many different reasons. But yeah, like I definitely coasted for at least a week on that energy alone. Like, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy. I'm excited because we are going to send a representative from Austin Poetry Slam there this year, and having these memories, which I'm really grateful that I kind of get to live them again through Rachel's eyes because she's brand new to all of this, and so I'm really excited about this year. I do not know what Lafayette will hold for us. It is my birth city, and so I'm happy going home. Hopefully a lot of family are able to come out and see it, but one thing I know for sure, like Austin Poetry Slam is heading into a beautiful trajectory. The Austin poetry scene is alive and well. We almost have a show every night, almost, or most. You should be able to find something to do within the city. For sure.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
It's turning out to be Monday is Every Word, Tuesday is Riches, Wednesday is Austin Poetry. Thursday and Friday, there are open mics that are downtown that are primary music, but they say poetry's okay. So all we need to do is just, bombard them with,
Take
20
that, bitch,
poets.
Russian.
Yeah. And
Need to
then
send a street team.
Sunday,
that would be the
Sunday they
street
started
team that
doing
we need to
spoken
create.
word again.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be dope.
Yeah.
Thursday and
So
Friday, get that street team out.
Sunday, we're still. I'm looking for a venue. The venue I had, they are not open on Sundays, but that is okay. We'll find a nice spot for that to happen. I kind of want it in a coffee shop though that sells alcohol or food, because that's a long time to be out. But thank you all so much. I love you guys. If we don't see each other beforehand, we will definitely see you on Wednesday. But don't forget to go to Any Word on Mondays at Vortex. This
Singing
one is
every word.
what's the name of it? Did I
You
say
said
every word?
You said any word, but it's fine.
Oh,
Just any old word.
Any words you got, just go
Don't
give
forget
it
to
to them.
support all the words.
Awesome.
Support all the
Any
words they
word.
got. Every day I get old.
Any word,
I have to
Vortex, Mondays, 8 to 10.
every word. I apologize. Forgive my head, not my heart. And I was gonna keep going. I was like, what are y'all talking about? I said it. Shit.
Just let her go. I wasn't gonna say that.
I appreciate you, Mike.
I generally, as a
Now.
rule, just am not
Thanks
shit.
for holding me down and not calling me out. I need more call-ins and call-outs. Now my brain ain't right. Anyway, please check Austin Poetry for all Austin Poetry Slam stuff. Our merch is on there. There's t-shirts. Every second count. The points ain't the point. The 30th anniversary. You can get a mug. You can get stickers. You can get stuff on that website. Go and get it. So we're doing pre-orders. Hey guys. Hey.
Not gonna be there
Hey.
the night you order it.
Pre-ordering for the month. The t-shirts will be sent out at the end of July. Okay, so this is a small business, small un poquito business. Okay,
Tiny.
75% of the business is right now on this call. So, so I just need y'all to understand that we gonna get you y'all stuff. Okay,
It's funny because it's true.
it's so true. It's not a lie at all. It's not a lie. All right. Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Y'all rest up. Be safe. Bye.
Bye.